Clicking suspect description from the witness center. Cruiser 11.
We want to bring you some details on a breaking story out of Aurora, Colorado this morning. A very scary situation at suburban Denver movie theater. Apparently there has been a mass shooting. What we're hearing from the police so far, there were a number of casualties in this matter already.
Yes, the Aurora police have confirmed with ABC News 20 injuries, 10 confirmed dead that we know of right now. One suspect has been taken into custody. Believes that there's one more suspect that is on the loose again. This was at the premiere of The Dark Knight Returns, the new Batman movie that so many folks were lining up to see late last night. But again, a mass shooting at this movie theater outside Denver, Colorado in Aurora.
A serious situation here. In case you're waking up, it was the Century 16 movie theater there. This is a suburb of Denver. Apparently theaters 8 and 9. This according to Aurora police here. Again, as you can imagine, this is a quickly developing story here, so we don't have many of the details just yet. We're waiting for a press release from the police, which we do expect momentarily here. But again, one suspect in custody, another one may be on the loose, 20 injuries, 10 casualties so far, and this really is a tragic turn. Because starting at midnight, really, Eastern time around the country, thousands of people were lining up for midnight showings of Batman. This was a movie expected to gross $200 million this weekend. You can imagine the line of anticipation, and apparently it has just turned into this carnage at this movie theater in suburban Denver this morning.
Yes, and we have crews on their way to the scene. We were bringing you the very latest coming up momentarily on Good Morning America, so make sure you stay tuned to ABC News for the very latest. And Clayton Sanzel is actually on the phone right now. Clayton, you're there. What can you tell us about what happened in Aurora, Colorado?
Good morning, Paul. I'm just pulling up on the scene here. There are just police cars everywhere, as you can imagine. I drove in from about 10 miles away, and police cars were streaming in from all over the place. Listening to reports of witnesses calling in the local radio stations, we're hearing a lot that seem to suggest that people were in the theater while the movie was going on, and that there was a lot of confusion when the gunfire first broke out. People actually thought that this was part of the movie. There were multiple theaters here that were showing the film, and there are reports that gunfire went from one theater to another, and that people were injured and hurt in the theater where shooting wasn't even going on. But it is a very chaotic and confusing scene out here, as you can imagine. This incident is not very old. But there is just a massive police response that has shown up to this theater this morning.
Clayton, hold on. Right now what we're looking at is, we were looking at a second ago, some live video there from the scene. Obviously it's early in this. We don't want to over-speculate. Are you getting a sense, or police on the ground there believing this was obviously some type of coordinated attack?
At this point, we simply do not know. As you said, it is just too early. Most people are just now arriving here on the scene, so they are for sure trying to sort that out at the moment. But at this point, Rob, we simply don't know.
Clayton, there was one report out there, and we want to know if you've been able to confirm that the gunman basically let off some tear gas, put on their masks, and then basically opened fire with basically semi-automatic weapons. Is there any truth to that report? Happened about 30 minutes into the movie?
Well, we haven't heard anything official in that regard, but I'll tell you, I mean, in any situation like this, obviously, there's going to be a lot of confusion and chaos inside the theater. Guns themselves obviously give off a lot of smoke, so it's not clear what happened in this theater. That will obviously be part of the investigation, but yeah, again, it's too early to know.
And the details are all pouring in, obviously. Facebook and Twitter, you can imagine a rush of information. Some of it good, some of it may not be too good right now. As you said, it's a state of chaos. But paint a little bit of the scene that you're seeing now. You mentioned this massive police presence. Are there still patrons of the movie theater in the area who now police may be questioning, who may have been in the theater and seen what happened, or were nearby, or has the crowd been largely dispersed at this point?
You know, right now the scene that I can describe to you is we can see the sign for the movie theater. We're probably 200 yards away right now, and there is a crowd that has gathered on the other side of the police cordons. There are, at least 20 to 30 police, ambulance vehicles that I see, other law enforcement vehicles are here. Sheriff, police units from all across the Denver metro area. are starting to arrive, and there are crowds gathered here, and of course a lot of reporters.
Is there a sense of chaos, or are the local authorities that have been keeping the scene kind of under control right now?
Well, other than the massive response, from where we are, it seems fairly calm. But again, we don't know if there is still a suspect who is outstanding, somebody that they're looking for. So there may be parts of this that we can't see. Obviously, there are helicopters hovering above, and again, just this massive police response. I'm sure trying to sort it all out. There are a lot of witnesses. A lot of people that were in this movie, obviously a very popular movie, big opening, several theaters, midnight showing. So there's a lot of people that they're going to have to track down and talk to.
Absolutely. Ted, we want to pass on some information, and literally we're just getting into the newsroom now. Apparently they have confirmed now, authorities there was an explosive device used in this incident. Again, 10 are dead, 20 have been injured here. They believe the suspect in this case, who's an adult male, did act alone, not confirmed just yet. They're obviously still taking precautions. They're checking all the cars there in the parking lot, trying to clear the area out as best they can, despite obviously the throngs of police and media at this point. Again, there was an explosive device inside that theater. They're not sure it was already in place or whether it was simply thrown into that crowd in the theater. Police, though, now are calling this a bomb and saying there were numerous gunshot wounds at this time, and also importantly, they have recovered the gun used in this incident, and that's, again, breaking details right now just into ABC here.
Yes, and if you're just joining us, we do want to let everybody know at home what is going on. There's been a mass shooting at a movie theater just outside Denver, Colorado, in Aurora. So far, we've confirmed, ABC News has confirmed with the Aurora Police Department, 10 fatalities, at least 20 injured, a gunman acting alone, opening fire in two movie theaters 8 and 9, at the Batman Dark Knight Returns premiere.
And obviously, as we said, we pointed out before, this was a huge opening. People lined up sometimes hours and hours in advance of this movie, so there were huge crowds at movie theaters across this country for the last several hours here. Obviously, no one could have predicted something like this would happen, but again, they found this explosive device in the early reports that a bomb was involved. That has been confirmed now by authorities there in Aurora, Colorado. And again, it's important to point out that the suspect at this point is in custody, because it sounds like it was perhaps a lone wolf, that he did work alone here, and they're not clear just yet as to whether it was planted in that theater, meaning this was some kind of premeditated act, or whether in fact this was actually thrown into that crowd in there sometime after the movie began, obviously in a dark, crowded room.
Clayton Sandell, are you still on the phone with us?
I am, and obviously this is going to be a just massive response and investigation. No doubt that there is an FBI task force made up of FBI agents and local officers who work this area, violent crime in this area. I'm sure they will be responding. This will no doubt be a very large investigation involving a lot of different agencies, including the FBI.
And you are looking at live pictures. Again, Clayton, can you paint the picture? You said you just arrived momentarily on the scene, and you were listening to the radio, listening to some eyewitness accounts of exactly what happened in that theater. Chaos. People weren't sure if what was going on. The shooting was actually part of the movie and the special effects in and of itself.
Right. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Batman movies or seen the trailer, this film has a lot of shooting and explosions that go on in it, and apparently, according to some witnesses that were being interviewed on local radio here as I was driving in, we're talking about the fact that there was a point in the movie where a lot of shooting and explosions were happening, and that is apparently when the shooting and explosions or whatever took place here started, and so that obviously created a lot of initial confusion on top of everything else.
A knife, a handgun, and another gun inside the theater, and again, you said you've heard reports of a vest. I assume you mean a bulletproof vest?
Correct.
So this guy was armed for battle. This guy went in there armed for some kind of horrific event and apparently was able to carry it out.
I think that's safe to say right now, yes.
And he is in your custody right now?
We do have one in custody, yes.
I just have a quick question. I know it's very early in the investigation here, but have you talked any possible motives here for this?
We have no idea right now.
I don't even think we've actually started talking to him. I don't know if he's talking, so we have no information on a possible motive other than it was the opening of the latest Batman movie and it was a crowded theater.
You found him at the rear of the theater. We're not there, obviously. Can you explain to me what that means? Was he trying to get out, trying to escape, trying to evade police?
He was outside. He was in the parking lot. His car was parked behind the theater. Now, I don't know if he went out the front door and ran to the back or if he went out a fire exit or another exit of some sort. But he was in the rear parking lot, which really isn't a public parking lot for the theater, at his car, and some of the first officers on scene saw him and took him into custody there.
I know you have a lot of witnesses that you're talking to, and the scene is incredibly chaotic, but did anybody notice him before? Did anybody alert anyone?
Not that I know of. Best information we're getting right now is that he appeared. And by that, I don't know if he appeared from behind the screen or appeared from a door, which would be at the front of the actual movie screen, but really is a back door or a fire exit. Best information we're getting right now is that he appeared at the front of the, the screen.
Approximately 12:30 this morning, a gunman appeared at the front of one of the theaters in the Century 16 Theater behind me here. Witnesses tell us that he released some sort of canister. They heard a hissing sound and that gas emerged. And then we know that the gunman opened fire. Now, I'm saying the gunman because as of right now, we only know of one gunman, okay? And we have no evidence of any additional shooters. Police officers responded and found the gunman in the back of the theater and outside of the parking lot near a car in possession of a gas mask and at least a rifle and a handgun. There's at least one additional weapon was found inside. The shooting apparently went on for some time. As of right now, we have approximately 50 who were hit, and we have 14 dead. 10 in the theater, and 4 died at the area hospitals. The police response consisted of rushing anyone who was hit immediately into police cars and to hospitals. There's 6 area hospitals we know of, I'll tell you what they are, that have handled and triaged victims. Children's Hospital, Aurora South, University Hospital, Parker Dennis, Denver General, and Swedish. I'm saying approximately 50 were injured. We can't get a firm count right now, and there may be some double counts if a victim was taken to one hospital and then transported to another. The suspect, who is in custody, made statements about possible explosives in possession in his residence. At this time, there is a residence in North Aurora. It's an apartment building that we have evacuated, and we are dealing with the potential that there are explosives inside there. We're also concerned about explosives in the parking lot, hence the parking lot is completely sealed off. We have all the area bomb squad teams. We've had wonderful support from all our law enforcement friends, and we're just, as a precaution, checking all the cars in the parking lot for explosives. That will go on for quite some time. The theater is secured, and I imagine the forensic work and the handling of the deceased inside the theater will go on for some time. On behalf of all of Aurora, and this is a horrific event, our hearts go out to the families. We have mobilized the witnesses that we could get our hands on to an area high school where debriefings are underway.
Authorities are now piecing together what happened from eyewitness accounts during the Aurora, Colorado theater shooting. Here's one witness speaking to CNN.
We heard like fireworks sounds, like bam, bam, and then that's when everything gets crazy. It goes rapid, like bam, 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 and it turns to something completely straight out of a horror film.
One woman who was also in the theater called into the Today Show and recounted being only a few feet away from the shooter when he started the onslaught.
He came in and he was 5 feet away from me as far as I could see, and I started to shoot people behind me, and the bullets started falling on my head.
Witnesses said the shooter, wearing a gas mask and dressed in black, entered the Century Aurora 16 theater in through the emergency exit, threw 2 bombs that dispersed gas throughout the theater, then began firing. Here's Fox News with the 911 call describing what happened next.